Hello and welcome back to YP Investors Quick Tip videos. You have joined us in the month of October. We are talking about ETFs. And week one, we talked about what is an ETF. Week two, we're coming at you with equal weighted ETFs. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jake.
And Jake, let's kick this thing off. Give us an idea of what is an equal weighted ETF.
An equal weighted ETF is when all the stocks, bonds, or commodities in that ETF have an equal percentage of the total equity of the whole ETF.
Okay, so what do you mean by total equity of the ETF?
So any individual ETF will have a total account value or total equity that they will use to invest in the certain bonds and stocks. And so of that total amount, each stock, bond, or commodity will have an equal share if you divide that total by all the underlying securities.
Okay, so maybe give me or us an example of an equal weighted ETF and how that works when you have like a small company and a big company all in the same ETF.
Right. Let's say we have an ETF, for example, and they have a company like Amazon, and Amazon is worth $850 billion.
So it's huge.
So it's a huge company. And then you have a company like Spotify,
okay,
and that's worth...
Which is big, but definitely not as big as Amazon.
Right, and that's going to be worth around $20 billion, I believe. So let's say you have like four companies like Spotify, and then you have the one giant company like Amazon in that ETF. If they aren't equal weighted, then most of the money is going to be put towards the big company because it's cap weighted is usually how most ETFs are.
Okay, so if it's a cap weighted ETF, most of that money in my ETF that I bought is going to go into the stock of the bigger company.
Right, and that's how the S&P 500 is divided up.
But in an equal weighted, how does that work?
So in an equal weighted, there'll just be 1/5 into Amazon, 1/5 into Spotify, and then 1/5 into the remaining three companies that are
saying if there's five,
same weight
it's always
as
equal.
Spotify. Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So that way, if in an equal weighted ETF, if the majority of the stocks in there or securities do well, then that ETF is going to do well because you have the majority vote or the majority of the shares are all going to be making you money.
Right.
Whereas in the other cap weighted, if Amazon does bad, then basically your whole ETF is going to do bad because most of your money is in that.
Right, because all of your money in that cap weighted is going to be in that bigger company. So if that bigger company doesn't do as well, that can be a negative. Versus this equal weighted, Jake is kind of explaining that there's a better chance of the whole thing doing well because it is kind of equally spread out between companies.
Yep, it's better.
So a small company and a big company is going to be weighted the same.
It's equally diversified to give you a better odds of success.
That's awesome. How can I tell when I'm going to buy an ETF? How can I tell if it's cap or equal?
If you're going to buy one, you can search online and see the holdings of the ETF. They'll display those on anywhere online, and you'll be able to tell. And in the title, usually the equal weighted ETFs say equal weighted ETF.
Okay, so it should be in the description of that ETF.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And kind of give us a little idea of what we can do on YP Investors to analyze an equal weighted ETF.
What you can do is use the stock selector tool or the point and figure charting tool. And those will spit out this description. It'll spit out the title of the actual ETF, and then it will plot the chart for you, showing you the technical attributes.
Okay, awesome. So I can go on there and I can kind of analyze all of that information. Can I compare an ETF versus an ETF?
Yes, and that would be with our relative strength tool. Okay. And that one you can compare ETFs head to head. It'll show you the long-term and short-term winner automatically. Okay,
I like that. I like that idea. So if you are interested in equal weighted ETFs, you can always go to ypinvestors.com. You can sign up for our monthly membership. It's $10 a month, and go ahead and start analyzing those equal weighted ETFs. Sounds like a really great idea to me. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Yep, thanks for joining us.
See you guys next week.